The African Transformation Movement says fixing the education system is on top of their manifesto for the 2024 national elections. The party has also prioritized fixing the country's economy, addressing the high crime rate, and in May this year, the ATM marked its 5th anniversary. The party is currently consulting its support base across the country in the build-up to the launch of its election manifesto later this year. The ATM has appealed for unity amongst political parties and to put the needs of South Africans first. It says unity will help bring relief to the suffering people of South Africa. The party has appealed to the opposition parties of similar conviction to find each other, saying they have more that brings them together than which divides them. For more on this, we're now joined by ATM leader Vuyo Zungula, and he joins us in studio to have a discussion more in terms of their plans for the 2024 elections. And when it comes to their manifesto, and when can South Africans expect that? Vuyo, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Like many parties, one would say that you've already started your elections campaign. And I must say that over the weekend, I even saw that you had an election rally in Soweto when it comes to your regional base. When it comes to the road ahead for ATM, what does that road look like as you prepare for the 2024 elections?
Thank you. Look, for the past years we've been in Parliament, it has been evident that we've made our mark in Parliament. We've made sound contributions in terms of what should happen in terms of dealing with unemployment, crime, and all of the problems that we face in our country, particularly on the question of leadership, because we're of the view as the ATM that if we don't solve the leadership question, none of the policy proposals will make sense, because leadership is central to everything that we want to achieve. For example, we as the ATM view that the current leadership lacks political will to solve the problems that we face in our country, and they lack the boldness that is required to actually confront problems head on. Instead, you've got leadership that speaks as if they're opposition parties or they're analysts. They are not leaders that are giving that confidence that they are actually in power, in charge, and they are going to decisively deal with the problems. So as the ATM, we've been consulting, and we are going to be continuing consulting. Last weekend, we were in Joburg. This weekend, we are, in fact, tomorrow we are in Secunda in Mpumalanga. Then on Saturday, we are going to Gauteng. So we are going across the country, getting the views of the people, because we want to produce a people's manifesto, a manifesto that responds to the aspirations of the people.
And as you continue on this campaign trail and to speak to your supporters, how would you say when it comes to your readiness for the elections, what's the status of the ATM?
Look, we're more than ready to an extent that people from various groupings, for example, we've got Amakosi that feel that in their country, whereby they are royal leaders, but they are neglected as Amakosi, they do not have space. And whenever the discussion of land comes, people forget that land was taken from Amakosi, but now they want to twist things to say land must go back to the government instead of land going back to Amakosi. Then the question of churches, we know that churches play a very critical role in terms of bringing about manners in society, because if people do not have manners, if people can't relate well together, it means you are not going to be having, a peaceful society. That is why you have a high crime rate. You have, a country whereby people lack morals, and you have a country whereby it's like we are directionless when it comes to morals. So that is as a result of being sidelined, being marginalized, instead of being appreciated for the role they play in terms of building the character of the people. So these are, amongst others, some of the stakeholders that have found refuge in the ATM to say ATM is a proper organization that is there to champion their needs and address the root causes of our problems in our country, whereby you've got leadership that sidelines the important groupings in our country, which is Amakosi and Ikawe and the community and communities.
And of course, you speak a lot about Ikawe and directly translating to church, and that's where your foundation comes from as the ATM. What sort of role will that be playing when you offer, your mandate to South Africans come the 2024 elections?
Look, we believe as the ATM that we need to work together. All the people in our country, all the different groupings need to come together and say, let us provide solutions. It does not help for the people to say certain groupings like churches should not be involved in the governance or the affairs of the country. And on the question of morality, on the question of manners, on the question of building the conscience of people, you find that the spiritual institutions play a critical role in terms of building the type of a South African that we want to have. Because, you know, a lot of people ask themselves, what is the character of a South African?
All right, Vuyo. Unfortunately, we have to cut you there.